What's up, YouTube? Big Dog here, back again for yet another edition of Big Dog Movie Reviews. Today reviewing one I've been kind of excited to see because I was a little impressed with the first one, and that is Jumanji: The Next Level. I was pleasantly surprised by the first Jumanji reboot. I didn't think it was going to be that good. I ended up seeing it. It was a good laugh. It was a reasonable, decent film. So yeah, Jumanji: The Next Level. There are spoilers ahead, so do be warned. If you haven't seen it yet, it's still in theaters at the time of this recording. So if you haven't seen it yet, go see it before watching this video, and then come back so you can hear my thoughts. The same format as always: likes, dislikes, final score, final comments. What do you guys have to say about that? Oh yes, I thought I like to watch Jumanji. I am Jumanji. Okay, Arnold, calm down. Okay, so Jumanji: The Next Level. Likes. Hilarious. I thought it was a hilarious film. Jokes are really funny. I was pretty consistently laughing through the whole thing. One of the funniest films of the year, if not the. It's in the running with Zombieland and Jexy, like I've said. If you haven't seen those videos, you want to know how funny I thought they were, I'll leave links for each in the description. So yeah, hilarious videos. Hilarious movies. My videos could be funny. I don't know, I think I'm kind of funny. Cast has great chemistry. Karen Gillian, or Gillian, however you say it. Jack Black, Dwayne Johnson, and Kevin Hart, I feel are all I think they all have great chemistry together. And then, even Awkwafina got thrown into the mix this time around. But I feel like they all have great chemistry, even when they're not filming and they're, not on camera. I felt they were all, having a great time with each other on set. So I thought that was a really cool part to the film. I just feel like they all work really well with each other. Milo and Eddie were welcome additions. They were the older gentlemen that you probably saw in the previews. I thought they were really funny. Eddie especially. When Danny DeVito was in the film, I thought he was really funny. And then every time he controlled the character in the game, I thought, when everyone was supposed to be Danny DeVito, I thought that was always really funny too. He was very much a welcomed comedic addition to what was already funny films. The story and challenges within the story were pretty cool. It wasn't very, a standout story by any means. It's just, what I like so much about it is how, much like the first one, the challenges play to each character's strength. So, each character's got, new abilities because it's, quote-unquote, the next level. And Shelley O'Brien, or Breen, whatever, Oberon, whatever, played by Jack Black, he has the new addition of skill of geometry, and everyone's like, what the heck's that? But there's a scene in there where it's a bunch of ladders and rotating, and it's all shape-oriented. And he's Fridge, who was playing as Oberon or whatever, he was saying everything. It was really cool just to see everything play to each other's strengths, much like the first one. And I also liked it when they got to control different people. They don't even get to choose their characters at the beginning of the film, and then they discover that, they get to, long story short, they jump in this water or something, and then they switch the people they control. Martha and Fridge ended up swapping characters for a short moment in time, about partway through, midway, maybe even on the earlier side of the film. So Fridge was inside Ruby Roundhouse, and Martha was inside Shelley Oberon, which was really interesting. And then that whole thing comes into play later, which I thought was really cool. And then as well as Spencer played as Ming Featherfoot or something like that, some thief in the game, which I thought was really cool. Added in a new character too. and I felt I could connect with the characters, invest myself in them. They were easy to relate to, easy to connect to. So yeah, characters. They did a good job of characters in this film. That's it for the likes. Down to the dislikes. Just about every person in this film is guilty of overacting. The biggest offenders in my mind are The Rock and Karen. But only Karen when Fridge was in control of her. I thought that was a bit outrageous and over the top. And Dwayne spends the majority of the movie as Eddie, a.k.a. Danny DeVito's character. And I thought they were just really overacting at times, which was kind of annoying. Smallest offenders in my mind are Awkwafina. I thought she did a pretty decent job. As well as Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart was the only one I would say that didn't overact at all. Which, I guess Kevin Hart has real acting chops, I guess. I never did see The Upside, which I hear is like a movie that's really different from what he's done. So I'll have to give that a watch, see what Kevin Hart can really do. But even my boy Jack Black, I love Jack Black. I love every movie he's in. I think he's just great and a very talented actor as well. But he was guilty of overacting at times when Fridge was in control of him. I thought it was just something. He was definitely not the biggest offender, but he definitely did overact at times. He was like in the middle of all that. Yeah. Ending was way too cheesy with Milo staying in the game. So it ends up being discovered that in real life Milo's got this illness and he doesn't have much longer to live. So he decides when they're all leaving that Milo's just going to stay in the game because, he can quote-unquote live forever in there, which I totally get. But I get the character's motives. I do. I understand why he'd want to stay in the game. But I think it would have been really cool if he did leave the game and lived out the rest of his life with the illness. I think that could have been a really touching and emotional, ending. Having him, grow old and maybe even die, depending on, what the movie decided to go with. But I think it would be really cool to see Milo grow old and grow weak. But as he's doing this, he's remaining close with Eddie, who was very good friend of his for a long time. Then even growing close to all the children, and they all just have a very harmonious relationship. And then it'd be a very emotional part of the film. So I thought that would have been cool. They broke their own rules of the game. Let me explain this one. In the first film, Colin Hanks got spit out, got sucked into the game, decades before the other kids ended up getting in. And they make it a point at the end of the first film, Welcome to the Jungle, to bring in Colin Hanks and as the older kid, the kid who got sucked in there. And he said that it spit him out right where it sucked him in, which is what the game should do apparently. So he got to live out the rest of his life. Although the kids all theoretically left the game at the same time, it spit the original Colin Hanks out in the 80s when he got sucked in. So I thought that was, and they made that very clear. They wanted you to know that. But in this film, Spencer gets sucked into the game a little cool. Sorry, I was reading the next line. Spencer gets sucked into the game a day or two, maybe even more, before everyone else, but gets spat out at the same point in time as everyone else. So, therefore, the filmmakers kind of broke their own rule with this whole when you leave the game, where do you fall, play it in time thing, which I feel is pretty big offense, honestly. That was, why make these rules for your own films if you're not going to follow them? So yeah, they just kind of went back on themselves. Ming was a cool character. I thought she was really interesting, played by Awkwafina. I thought she was a very interesting character with a very interesting set of skills. But I want to know why her and the horse, I guess, weren't available in the character selection screen in the first film. I went back and watched sorry, my table was, thought it was breaking on me. I went back and watched the scene from the first film, and Ming and the horse weren't even available at the character selection screen. So I want to know why they weren't there. How are these characters actual characters, but they're not in the character selection screen? Would kind of like to know that, honestly. And I thought them being a horse was stupid. I kind of thought everything surrounding the horse was really dumb. I would have liked to see them add in... I mean, if they did have to add another character, I would have liked it to be something else that's like human, like along the lines of Ming. Not a horse that can sprout wings and fly at one point. So, I thought that was kind of really dumb. But I did enjoy this film. I thought it was pretty... I didn't think it was bad by any means. It was just kind of some things that they should have done differently. But I think Jumanji: The Next Level deserves a 6 out of 10. I talked to a few peers of mine, and they weren't a huge fan of it. And I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. The first one was really good. And they really liked the first one. They thought this one was worse than the first one. I thought this was just as good, if not slightly better, than Welcome to the Jungle. Unpopular opinion, maybe, but I thought this was just a very entertaining film all around. Like I said, hilarious. And I'd say go see it if you have time and you want to see it and you want to have a good laugh. It's funny for all ages, even kind of more for like older kids. 'Cause there's some pretty interesting jokes in there. But me being 22, I thought it was really funny. So yeah, Jumanji: The Next Level, 6 out of 10. But with all that being said, that's a review. It's going in the book. Smash that like button. Do leave a comment. Let me know what you thought of the film. If you were like my peers and were disappointed with it, let me know. Or if you thought it was better than what I thought it was. And please let me know. I'd like to know others' thoughts and their reasonings behind it on film. So leave that in the comment section. And do subscribe to the channel. I keep movie reviews flowing. I do movie reviews on here. It's just me showing the world my passion for film on YouTube. So how I'm spreading the world. So I'm spreading my passion to the world. So do subscribe if you're a movie fan in the slightest. And as always, if you're looking to get a little more involved with the channel, do follow the corresponding Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd accounts. For all three, it's got the same username. It's at BigDogMR79. I'll throw that on the screen at the end of the video, as always. But until then, that's all I got for today. I'll see you guys with the next movie review. And as always, change the world. I will see you later.